This generated a good conversation amongst our membership base, and we collected information through an email system.
There's obviously a great degree of support given to the bus service. Parents trust it, schools trust it, they have faith in it and they believe in it, and therefore I guess that's why their position exists, that it remain as it is.
We do know that regional Victoria is poorly serviced by public transport, and that affordable rideshare services, when compared with our metro citizens, certainly place our rural colleagues at a disadvantage.
It should be recognised that the existing school bus system has stood the test of time because it has been dedicated primarily to rural students' education opportunities.
You could probably have a package of services that could provide people with much more on-demand, on-time services that could really benefit them.
Who is going to monitor the safety provisions of those children when we incorporate public transport? And I don't know how you mitigate or minimise fear for parents and community when you amalgamate those two modes of transportation.
You did state that there seemed to be, from the investigations, or I guess the survey that you did, a push for the status quo to remain by many stakeholders. Is that a reflection of maybe high satisfaction level with the existing services?
In saying that they're highly satisfied with the service, where they try to get changes to the existing bus services in the interest of students within their school, they find that very bureaucratic and difficult to achieve.
Have we got any kids in rural Victoria can't go to university because they can't get transport?
What we did have was only that data that 6 to 11% who are looking at dropping out say it's because the commute is too difficult.
Are there other work that you perform between the school bus hours, or is it are your buses idle during those times?
They're idle unless we have a use for them for schools, as I said before, to move around swimming pools or whatever it may be. But the majority of the buses would be just sitting in their garage till they're required in the afternoon.
If you took a more holistic view around provision of convenient services, you could actually consider the school bus tabling within a frequent pattern of public services. So in terms of the user, they probably don't really care if it's a full public bus or if it's a school bus or if it's a community bus.
You talked about the on-demand services. Could you expand on how that would actually work in remote areas?
So it has capacity to go to more outlying regions and pick up people directly from their homes and transport them directly to their appointments, which a public transport system doesn't do.
How do we give the community that sense of safety and security in that environment with the on-services demand model?
It requires a booking, so there's some legitimacy behind being able to check probities. There's also legitimacy about the rigour in checks and balancing for quality audit purposes.
The greatest concern coming forward in this inquiry is the concern that apparently parents have, quite rightly, that their children could be put at risk if others board the existing school bus.
It would seem to me that this would provide a lot of assurance to parents with younger children on the bus that tertiary students on the bus have had some form of vetting, that they would have a police check, that they would have, potentially a working with children check. Noting, of course, as I said, that some of these tertiary students are children themselves.
Yeah, just in terms of just when the kids are on the bus, and I'll call them monitors, like a couple of volunteers just by and those two people maybe have working with children checks, or that person has a working with children check. But keep an eye on the kids on that run on the school bus if they've got other people coming on. How would you think that would go down?
I think anything that's reasonable and doesn't put at risk their children's safety in any significant way, that they'd contemplate. And such a suggestion you have made, I think, is well and truly within that gambit.